What is the best product to sell now? So with Etsy, because we're obviously just coming into the Christmas period where people are really starting to buy Christmas products, there's a lot of different things like that I would actually recommend to sell. But there's so many different things that you can sell, right? The straight up niche that I always pretty much recommend is home decor, right? If you come over to Etsy.com, this is always a good idea to look at niches, right? If you go to the homepage on Etsy, ignore all my recently viewed, but if you look at what Etsy's promoting in their navigation bar right at the top right here. So you got gifts, you got festive finds, home favorites, fashion, registry, gift cards, right? So fashion is actually a huge niche. A lot of people kind of didn't really pay attention to fashion. I've made a lot of money from fashion and so have a lot of other guys as well. It's really, really, really strong niche. Not necessarily focusing on jewelry, because jewelry is a bit overplayed. A lot of people do jewelry on Etsy, but a lot of people just don't look at women's clothing and men's clothing and baby clothing. Things like this is just really, really, really easy to sell. A lot of these items are somewhat seasonal though. So really my favorite niche, the niche that I've made the most money in on Etsy, but also off Etsy as well, just in Shopify, is home goods, home decor. They call it home favorites, right? Really everything in here, like wall art's banging. There's so many different things in here that you can sell. And really anything sells really, really well. The only kind of caveat, the only kind of filter that I'm going to put on this is don't sell really cheap stuff. So if you look at home improvement, it's not going to show anything, that fuck's sake. You know what I'm saying, right? So if home improvement, there's a lot of really cheap items in home improvement. I mean, wheelie bin stickers. £3.95, shit. Fabric comb, £7.95, shit. You know, that's like $5, $10, shit. Don't sell that kind of stuff. $15, don't sell that kind of stuff, you know. $12, like don't sell really, really, really cheap stuff, but more expensive things are really good. So something like this, where it's not the whole thing, right? So it's a small one. So a small one of this, you need a lot. Like they're really going for the big sales right here. Small little thing is £30, but you're going to have to buy 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 to actually make this good. So this is a really, really good product. It's so simple, so easy. So home improvement items pretty much is always my go-to to recommending stuff. Like bedding, storage and organization. There's so many different things in here that you can sell and just absolutely prince. And then also really gifting stuff as well, Christmas stuff. It is a little bit late, like a tiny bit late now for Christmas stuff, but you can still make a hell of a lot of money with it. Like specifically focusing on unique stuff. So you can do crafting supplies. Crafting supplies is actually really good. Something we've been focusing a little bit more on now as well. Like all this, let's see if we can find something. Like not necessarily DIY, that kind of stuff, but this kind of stuff where it's like you can very easily get away with dropshipping this and you have much less deactivations. But there's a lot of stuff in here that works really, really, really well. Wouldn't do candles, but like hand knit Christmas jumpers. Like look at all this shit in here, you know, seasonal prints. And if you do something, this is perfect product. This is the kind of Etsy Christmas stuff that you want to be selling, where it's stuff that's not normal, something that's unique. You know, it's two reindeers having sexual relations on a jumper. Like that's amazing. And they're selling it for £53. Like that's crazy money for this product. And there's £16 delivery because it's going to the US. Like that's crazy for this product. And look how many sales they've had. So we go by most recent, we see that they were selling this last year and it printed for them last year. We can see how many orders they were doing last year. Like they got a lot of orders last year, the year before that as well. So it's like a simple little product like this, just prints, right? And you just do loads of these different things and absolutely prints. That's the only thing they do is just the Christmas jumper bullshit. I think this store is actually weird. What the fuck? Why is there like bathroom sinks and then whatever? You know what I'm trying to say, right? There's a lot of different stuff that you can do this kind of thing. So just general advice. I think I gave some good stuff there for what to sell. Etsy or Shopify dropshipping. For a complete and utter beginner, 1000% Etsy dropshipping. Etsy dropshipping costs less money than Shopify dropshipping. Etsy, really, you need $150, $250, like £100, £200 to get started and get profitable. And with Shopify dropshipping, you need thousands, right? Shopify dropshipping works. It's great. but it's a lot harder, it takes a lot more time, and it just costs a lot more money with pretty much all the methods that people are talking about. But yeah, that's Etsy or Shopify dropshipping. Like I've done by the way, like a lot of guys don't know my background in here, right? There's like 40 people in here. A lot of people don't know my background, but I originally started with Shopify dropshipping. I did that for probably like 2 years full time, 2-3 years full time, and then transitioned over to Etsy dropshipping. And I've been doing Etsy dropshipping now like 3 years while doing still Shopify dropshipping. I still do that to some degree and running Shopify brands. So I originally started with Shopify dropshipping, and trust me, it's very, very, very difficult, and it's very expensive as well. And that's the one thing that no one seems to mention is even once you found a winner, you need to use those profits to find more winners. With Etsy, it's a lot easier to keep that profit because you don't require loads of money to keep testing and keep finding new products. You just take the profit and you're literally good, right? That's the thing. Because I remember when I was doing Shopify dropshipping, I had a mentor and he was amazing, and he basically taught me everything in the beginning. And that's the only reason why I saw success in the beginning. But negating that, and he had more experience than obviously because he'd already done a couple, probably like maybe 200 grand in sales when I came on to the team. Really, we did my first dropshipping store that saw success with my partner, did like 300 grand in sales, but basically made no profit, right? We were running at lower margins than we should have been doing, but we couldn't increase the margins, made so many mistakes. And let's say we ended up with about 30 grand profit, 10% net margin, right? Really, we did that, and that 30 grand went straight into testing and it was all gone. So yeah. I have a broke friend who wants to do Etsy with me. How should we start? If you're broke, go to my YouTube channel, go click on my videos, click my most popular videos, and go watch one of them. This is the best video in the entire world. This video right here. Look, you go videos and you go most popular, and this one right here, 3 hours long. This video is absolutely wonderful. This one right here, absolutely beautiful. Best video ever. This took me so fucking long to make. The amount of effort I put into this shit was fucking ridiculous. So go watch this. It's really, really good. Watch that, follow it. It's not perfect. And obviously, like, I have gate kept a bunch of information inside of Etsy Kings, obviously. But it's pretty good. And it doesn't really cost that much money to get started with Etsy. So that's what I'd recommend to do. If you want a shorter version, this one's pretty good. It's more outdated though. This one's fucking banging. 3 hours long. I'm currently building my website, and it's a struggle for me right now. You just putting that out there into the universe, or was there a question? I heard you said that the candle niche is not so good. Yeah, man, I don't think candles on Etsy are the best because, and I'll explain exactly why I don't think candles are particularly good, because they're not that expensive. And you can't really make that much money. You're going to have to sell a lot of bloody candles to make a lot of money, right? So I really would not recommend to do this niche purely because of that. Like, candles is just not very good. Like, okay, we look at this candle right here. That takes it's a bit of effort to put these kind of things together. You can get this kind of stuff in China. But if you look at it, like set of 20, it's actually a wedding one. This is actually quite cool. But you need a way of getting more money than candles are worth, right? So this store does something interesting. What even is this? This candle? This is like wedding flowers and stuff. But if you do something different, then you're good. But selling like really cheap candles is just not the way to go. Right? Even £25 for a big ass candle. Let's have a look at that candle. That candle's big, 500 milliliters. So including the box, right? You got to have packaging, right? Because it's glass, it's delicate. So, bro, that's like 700 grams, 800 grams for a parcel, potentially even a kilo. So it's like, bro, that's a heavy parcel to be shipping for only £25 from China. Like, it's hard to get something like that done. Really, like, that's the only thing. It's not that good of a niche. Because, bro, like, what, you gonna sell £6 candles? Like, how many bloody £6 candles are you gonna sell? £3.50 delivery. Like, that's literally the cost of delivery. Maybe a bit cheaper, but like, maybe like £2.80, something like this. But that's basically the cost. And they're just like, I know it's cheap, but you're gonna have to sell a lot of fucking candles. So me personally, I prefer the lowest effort possible, so I don't sell candles. It's pretty much simple as that, you know? Do they really ID check for Etsy? If so, how can we get around this? Otherwise, we can't open multiple stores. No. So they do ID check. Really checking IDs has probably come in to the majority of Etsy locations, I would say in the past like 9 to 12 months. So really, yeah, basically pretty much every location now does have ID checking. It originally started in the US, then it came over to like the UK and EU. But yeah, like it's not really about getting around this in terms of the ID check. It's just more if it's really used in the correct way. But yeah, like you can still make unlimited amount of stores. To be honest, right now, what we're seeing inside of EK, inside of Etsy Kings, we're really seeing that we can just open up an unlimited amount of stores. And it's kind of different to the way it used to be. It's actually better than it used to be in terms of just opening up loads of stores. Like it's pretty simple right now, to be honest. But yeah, they still do ID check, but it's just not really a problem. You can very easily get around it. Like not get around it, but like get around it, you know? Like not get around it illegally. That's the one thing, like a lot of people that talk about, like, let's say Etsy. I mean, there's literally no one that really talks about Etsy. But in terms of opening up multiple stores, a lot of people like really give like illegal advice and say that you should just commit identity fraud, which is fucking obviously bad. You should not commit identity fraud. But there's other ways to do things, you know, you don't have to do it like that. Just no ship. Yeah, guys, just no ship. To be honest though, like I don't want to promote no ship dropshipping, but I've actually seen no one have any fucking problem with anything like that, like at all, which is a bit weird, but yeah. I've seen other people have problems with like IP and stuff, and IP is pretty bad. That's one thing you've got to bear in mind with Etsy. Like a lot of, like let's say if your product's selling really well and it's going crazy, there's a decent chance that you're selling something that's IP striked. Most of the time when I see something go insane in terms of sales and orders, like insane. I'm talking like you get 20, 30 orders first day. You like keep going up and up and up and up and up. In the first week, you're doing like 100 order days where it goes nuts. It's really, I've only ever seen that where it's IP strike stuff. IP strike stuff, where it's stuff where you're infringing on other people's intellectual property. You're selling like Van Cleef bracelets and this kind of stuff, and that's bad because you will get an IP strike. They won't always sue you, but you pretty much always will get an IP strike. Etsy are very kind right now, bro. They're so kind right now. Like Etsy's so easy and so chill right now. It's actually hilarious. Like I did a voice note about this the other day, but Etsy right now, like October going into November 2024, is levels easier compared to last year in terms of bans, but also in terms of getting sales. It seems like it's just easier to compete with people, like slightly easier to compete with people on the platform, right? It's just easy to get sales, slightly easier than like last year and the year before, right? Yeah. But in terms of bans and in terms of deactivations, it's much less if you're doing the correct methods, right? If you're doing the wrong methods, obviously it's super, super high. But if you're doing the correct methods, it's actually a lot easier than it used to be. Really, like a year ago, there was a lot of bans, like big ban waves. Whereas now, like personally on my stores, I've not had a big ban wave in so long, like in terms of a lot of deactivations go down at one time, or a store that I like actually give a fuck about has gone down. Obviously we have stores go down, but that's more because of testing than like, oh no, this was a surprise to me, you know? Like in the past like 9 months, I haven't been, even like the past year, I haven't been surprised by a store going down. It's just like, oh, okay, it goes down, you know? Do you think it's risky to use random tracking numbers starting with blah, 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 just to get it recognized by USPS and then update it with actual tracking number later? In terms of Etsy's system, I've not seen that being a specific risk. It's annoying from a customer service point of view because it just confuses the customer, and I think it's potentially more likely that the customer might then report you for something. But yeah, like I don't really have anything about that. Also, if I've closed the bank accounts linked to my Etsy payments, can those payments still go through, or do you need to contact Etsy? You need to contact Etsy. They won't go through, bro. They normally won't be accepted by the bank. It will just get bounced back to Etsy. They'll try and send it. It'll get bounced back, but you need to contact Etsy about that, yeah. Etsy asked for my taxpayer ID or business number via email on a few of my older stores. I don't want to link my stores, so I just put random numbers in. I'm Australian. You don't want to put random numbers in, but yeah, you do need to put the numbers in. You don't want to just put random. But yeah, I have 7 to 9 sales per week, 220 sales by now, but not consistently like daily. more like in bursts here and there. I have low amount of listings. I know that's bad. I'm wondering what the next step is. So if your store is kind of dealing with a lot of inconsistencies, like if your store's really having a lot of inconsistencies and it's brand new, 220 orders is very, very new. Really, you're kind of just in that position. It's going to be okay. It's going to work out fine, to be honest, is my general advice. You've just got to give it a bit of time to kind of get more higher in the search rankings. You just need to get higher in the search rankings. And really the easiest way to do that is just keep adding more products, keep sticking to your customer service, obviously going for star seller. Are you running ads? If not, I would consider running ads as well, just to kind of build that level of consistency. Because what's going to happen is when your store gets more and more orders, and if your store's good and it's optimized and you've got the correct pricing, you've got the correct shipping, and you've done everything correctly, your descriptions are clear, your photos are good, you're split testing your photos, you're trying different things, and you're constantly trying to optimize and improve your store, Etsy is going to keep bumping you up as you get more and more orders. So as that happens, you are going to go higher and higher and higher. The only reason why you're seeing inconsistencies right now is purely because your store is very, 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 very new, and new stores are just going to have inconsistencies. So you just need more winners is really the thing, right? Like if you've done, let's say you're doing 7 sales a week, right? 7 to 9 sales per week. You just need more products that are going to do that, right? 7 to 9 sales per week. Maybe you got like probably 1 or 2 products that are taking up majority of that. And then the rest of them are kind of spread out. So you just need more of those winning products that are going to carry your store. So it's just kind of more products is the simplest advice I can give there, alongside of just optimizing. The way I like to think about Etsy is that it's player versus player. So your store, your description, your pricing, your shipping times, your logo, your banner, all of it comes into to one thing. And Etsy looks at the revenue that you generate per click for them, right? How much money are you making per click? What's your average order value, right? Divided by your clicks, right? And then what's your CTR? So your CTR is your images and your thumbnails. So you need to make them as great as humanly possible, right? Your pictures, you need to be split testing them. You need to duplicate your products out, try new thumbnails, do that 2 or 3 times if it's a good item. And then your revenue per click is what I like to call it. So the amount of clicks you get, the amount of average order value you get divided by the amount of clicks. Basically, like you need to figure out what a click is worth, right? To you and to your Etsy store. And then once you do that, you need to look into to obviously increase that. So that comes through increasing your prices maybe, or charging for shipping. More and more stores are actually charging for shipping now, and just trying to make as much money as possible. And if you're constantly doing that, and if you're slightly better than your competition, you're slightly better than the person that is ranked 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the search terms, you are going to get bumped straight up. That's just really that simple. Would you kill a product that you're buying for $8, selling for $17.95 to $19.95? Product is properly print, but still, I don't know if the ROI is decent, doing all organic. If it's all organic and it's easy and it's passively selling, I'm not going to kill it. I'm just going to leave it on there, but I would try and increase those prices. It's just the margin is not that good. Like you really want like a 3 to 4x markup. So if you're buying something for $8, you really want to be selling it above like $30, really. So I would just try and like slowly increase your prices, see if it works, you know. It depends on how many organic orders you're getting a day. But yeah. Hello, I just opened a new Etsy account. Can't do ads yet. Can I get sales organic now with Q4? Yeah, 100%. Etsy brought in the 14-day ad thing. It's a little bit annoying. They brought it in a while ago. But yeah, you're going to be perfectly fine. I would just keep listing. You got 14 days. You should have 14 products at least in those 14 days. So you'll be all good, basically. So just keep listing. Just make sure you keep listing. Stick with it. Stick with the course, you know? If a customer requests a refund before the processing time is up, but the item has already been shipped, how would you handle it? I just haven't updated the tracking number yet. I forgot about that. So if a customer is requesting a refund, but the item's already in shipping, the response that I give is, hello, Karen, the item has already been shipped to you. Sorry, there was a delay with updating the tracking number. I've been incredibly busy in my personal life, some bullshit like this, right? That normally works with Etsy buyers. I would then say, Unfortunately, because the item's already in transit to you, I'm unable to give you a refund. When you receive the item, we are more than happy to accept the return for a full refund. Just because it's in transit right now, we can't give a refund. But the second you get it, let me know and we'll organize a refund for you and we'll get it back and that's all good. That's what I say. Normally that's a perfectly reasonable kind of thing. So people are okay with it. I'm 17. Can I use my parents' ID and my own bank details? I would not recommend to do that. I would just recommend to speak to your parents. Just ask them, just show them what you're doing. And I'm sure they're going to be supportive, right? Like show them and explain to them and teach them teach them what you're doing. Like show them what you're doing. And if they do that, like most of the time, I would personally say your parents want to support you. But it's not a good idea to do that. When making a stealth, can I use the address of my siblings that stay with me, or does my signer need a different address also? Sibling has different account, everything only same address. It doesn't have to be separate. I made a new account and it's been 24 days since my first order, but I have been running ads at $30 per day. Do Etsy Hour ads count towards that payment that would be paid out or only the fees section? No, it will show as a separate thing on your finances tab. It'll show as like a separate line on your finances tab, Etsy advertising. I have 2K views in 7 days, but only 5 sales. I'm in women's fashion niche. Any tips? I mean, let's do a rough breakdown of your 2K views because a lot of people look at this in the wrong way, right? So from 2,000 views, right? Views is not a very, 2,000 views. Let's say most stores are probably going to have like a click-through rate of, let's say 2%. Let's be nice, right? So 2%, right? So that means you're going to have 40 clicks, right? So from 2,000 views, you've then got 40 clicks on your listing. From 40 clicks on your listing, you're going to have probably let's say a 2% conversion rate, right? So it's 8 sales. So it's 5 sales, pretty much the same kind of thing, right? You're very close to what is to be kind of expected there. 2,000 views is just not that many views. That's a big misconception. People think 2,000 views, whoa, that's a lot, you know? Think about it like fucking, what to look at it? Think about TikTok, you know, on TikTok, if you get 2,000 views on a video, that's nothing. You know, the level of attention span that counts towards a view on TikTok is even higher than it would be on Etsy, right? On Etsy, they're just scrolling past. It's not very engaging. So 2,000 views is basically nothing. Is Etsy on the downhill right now? You almost never get 3-day stores. Most of them are 14 days. This makes dropshipping a huge risk. Also, most Telegram Discord groups for Etsy are dead now. No, it's definitely on the uptake. Really, the only reason why you would need a 3-day store is if you're doing something sus. If you're doing the correct methods, you don't really need a 3-day store. Yes, it does require more cash flow, but I mean, every business requires cash flow. So it's definitely not on the downtick though. Deactivations are less than they pretty much have been in the past year and a half, if not even, I would say a year and a half. Deactivations are the lowest point. So are bans in my experience. And also right now you can open up unlimited amount of stores. So with those kind of couple of things, you're literally good to go. And also Q4 as well, easiest time of the year, especially on Etsy, because Q4 on Etsy, so October, November, December. So next month, in 4 weeks' time, we've got Black Friday. In 8 weeks' time, we've got Christmas. So this next really 6-week period, because obviously people aren't buying Christmas presents on the 20th. Not that many people anyways. But it's the easiest time, basically. Bank Leaf is crazy. The original price is mad. And they're 6K at least. Nah, I thought it was 2-3K for a little Van Cleef bracelet. I didn't realize it was 6K. But there's so many fakes. So is this a really interesting thing about luxury goods? With luxury items, you almost don't want them to go super viral because then then they just make loads of fakes and it loses its exclusivity and it's just fucked, you know? In response to 2K views on women's niche store. Oh yeah, what do you want to do? Oh yeah, my bad. So if you have 2K views in 7 days but only 5 sales in women's fashion, you just need to run more ads, list more products and list better products. That's really the simplest thing, right? Run ads. You're only 7 days in, so you probably can't run ads right now. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, whatever. Just list more products, list better products. That's the easiest advice that I can give to you. What rate of product listing and testing do you recommend? Is 1 product listing a day reasonable? Yes. That's what you should do. 1 product a day. That's absolute minimum, absolute maximum. That's personally what I would recommend. That's what I would say. Could you give an explanation on proxies? So proxies, the way proxies work is it essentially disguises your IP address. So your IP address is a unique identifier for your internet connection. So every internet connection has a unique IP address, kind of, basically. I'm going to explain it the simplest way. Basically, if you want to go watch Netflix on US Netflix, you sign into a VPN. A proxy is basically the same thing as a VPN. VPNs are bad because they're shared by thousands of people. Thousands of people will be sharing that same VPN access that you're using, right? So that's bad. But with proxies, normally that is exclusive to you. So only you have access through that proxy. So basically disguises your IP address so other people are unable to see it. Etsy links stores through multiple different ways, and we need to change every piece of information when we are logging into Etsy. You have to do the same thing for Facebook as well. If you're having a good Facebook profile set up, right, to run ads at a good scale and do things correctly, you really need proxies as well as a software like AdsPower to disguise your MAC address as well. So proxies basically disguise your IP address so it looks like you're logging in from a different Wi-Fi connection when you're actually not. So it's basically a VPN. So yeah. When you see certain items go 30 to 40 to 100 sales a day and it's potentially copyright, surely fulfilling these orders is risky and you need a lot of capital, especially with the longer holds. Now, bro, I'm not suggesting anyone sells copyright items. I'm saying like the reason why like some people message me like, oh bro, like I've had this store and it's going crazy right now. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. Like make sure you're not selling copyright stuff. And he's like, oh no, I'm just selling like some Van Cleef stuff, bro. Like it's okay. Like it's fine. I found it on AliExpress. It's okay. Does putting production partners matter? No. It's the biggest thing. Like production partners mean fuck all on Etsy in my experience right now. I assume the making multiple accounts method is an Etsy Kings exclusively. Yes. If anyone would like to apply to join Etsy Kings, you can click the top link in the description. Apply@etsykings.com. How will a package arrive from AliExpress/CJ to the customer in terms of packaging? Won't be a problem. So when you do drop shipping, you tell the Chinese supplier, don't put any bait stuff on there. Basically, don't put any invoices. Don't put Chinese stuff on there. So it doesn't look that bad. They still are able to tell, purely because most of the time it's going to have a Chinese label on there and a Chinese return address. So you can get an agent, you can get a private supplier that can do it better and can just make it better for you. But yeah, it's not perfect all the time. I'm not going to lie.